Capricorn, hello. This is Ashley. We're going to do your reading for October 2021. We're going to see where you've been and where you're headed. Now, this is a general reading, so whatever comes through, comes through. Whether it's career, love, etc. So we'll just see what's coming in. And this will not resonate for every Capricorn out there, so make sure if it does not that you go ahead and check out your other placements and find some messages that may be helpful to you there. So Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus are good options to check. And I think we'll use this deck. So we're going to do some tarot. We'll get some clarifying cards as well to kind of narrow down the story. So let's see what's going on for Capricorn. Now Capricorn, you're probably having a very interesting time this October because Pluto is slowing down and getting ready to station direct in your sign. So expect some power struggles that ultimately lead to some kind of transformation for you. But it could be an interesting month, especially since we have Mercury retrograde going on at the same time. And Mercury is doing a lot of interacting with Pluto in the form of a square. So if you haven't already, make sure you watch that Mercury retrograde bonus reading that I did for your sign. I'll link that at the end of this video. And make sure to like and subscribe. Join the community here. Let's see what we can get for you for October 2021. We have the Four of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Star, the Three of Wands, the Queen of Cups, and the Moon, the Five of Pentacles, the Ten of Wands, and the Four of Cups, but popped up in the reverse there. So we'll pay attention to that as well. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Cups. So some sort of message coming in for you this month. Now he is got an eagle coming in there with him on the one hand. And so it could very well be a message from Spirit or from a higher perspective rather. So we'll see how that's coming into play in your reading. Oh, let's see here. I feel like you've been going through it here, Capricorn, really trying to conserve, manage your resources and remain patient. There's been a lot of waiting going on here, a lot of stuck energy. Everything feels like it's moving at a snail's pace to finally get going here. And I feel like on a very intuitive level, there's some kind of recognition on your part that a surrender is needed in order to bring in the goods, the things that you've been waiting for. And I do feel like whatever path you're on right now, you have a conscious awareness of the fact that you're headed in the general direction of your destined or fated path here, with that star card showing up there. you know, you definitely have some hopes and dreams of what the future will bring in, and it's just been a slow process here. Let's see what we get here. In the past position, we have the Camel. So we know the Camel, you know, can consume a massive amount of water and store it in its hump, and then traipse through the desert for miles and miles and miles while conserving that water for itself. And so it says be forbearing and patient, and I do feel like that's where you have been. You've been traipsing through the desert. And, you know, the pressure, the heat that is upon you has not been easy. It feels like 10 of Wands energy, and we do have the 10 of Wands showing up here in October. So, like back-breaking effort being put in here. Now, this is in the past position. We have the 4 of Swords, 3 of Wands, and the 5 of Coins, or the 5 of Pentacles. And it feels like you've been really waiting for something to happen here. This 4 of Swords is like this rest, retreat energy, like almost like Sleeping Beauty kind of energy, kind of being in this hermit mode. Excuse my voice. And I think that you've been putting in a lot of effort, and you continue to like take steps forward. You can see on this 3 of Wands, she's climbing this ladder, potentially to the castle of her dreams. You can see it in the background there. But she definitely has this like look of concern on her face. It's like the wind is whipping around this ladder, and this ladder appears to me made out of bones. And so it's like you've taken the pieces of perhaps even a shattered experience of the past, and you've like pulled them all together, and you're just trying to use the resources that you have to move forward. But I definitely feel like you've been feeling financially strained, left out in the cold, rejected. This has not been an easy path right now. This poor little homeless girl is using matches to keep her warm. And she's running out of matches. And so, ouch. Let's see what other detail we can get here for the past. Where do we have the 4 of Swords? We have the 4 of Wands. Yeah, just like waiting for this manifestation. And the King of Pentacles. It could also be that part of this was kicked into movement, this past position, because in the deeper past, you retreated from a marriage, right? That King of Pentacles and the 4 of Wands there, that could have easily been a long-term relationship, long-term commitment, or even a marriage that you pulled away from. With the 3 of Wands, we have the 2 of Wands and the 9 of Cups. So on some level, you decided that you were going to move away from that, and you chose to expand and chase your dreams, right? And that makes sense. Those bones on that ladder, I keep seeing those, and those could have very well have been the bones, so to speak, figuratively, obviously, of the broken relationship of the past. But it kind of feels to me like you took all the resources that you had, so not just money and not just belongings, but like your own wisdom, your education, your experience, and all of those things, and sort of formed this ladder for yourself to be able to climb to new heights and chase your dreams. With the Five of Pentacles, we have the Knight of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. So I do feel like you were probably dealing with some drama in the deep past. You may have even received an offer of a new beginning that was ultimately rejected. Whether you did the rejecting or someone rejected your offer, take it as it resonates. So with that Five of Pentacles, that's like left out in the cold, rejected energy, right? With the Six, it helps to bring in more balance. And it seems like you just haven't been able to achieve that balance quite yet. Now, as far as signs go, could be dealing with a Taurus or an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We're really getting all the suits here, so it doesn't have to be those. They're just coming through the most strongly. So in the month of October, we have the Blessed card, but it's in reverse. So you can see that this fairy is kind of riding the shell. It's being propelled forward by light. And she's sort of in this meditation pose. Kind of lifted up by love and grace is really what this card talks about. So when it's in the reverse, what this is really saying is that the blessings will come in, but in order to get those blessings, there has to be a full-blown surrender to what's happening right now, where you're at, whatever it may be for you. And that has been a burden. You've been wearing this stack of wands, this 10 of wands on your back, but you can see in this depiction, it's actually a really great depiction of the 10 of wands, because this tree is growing out of the skull, like the death card here, and all this new, there's like fruit, coming from this tree. It's like very abundant. There's flowers, there's fruit, there's all these branches, and it's coming because something died, right? And so it could very well be that there's something at this time that you need to let go of, because it feels like it is blocking you from grace, from a blessing. Now, when we're talking about a blessing or receiving grace, it's not because you did something to deserve it. It's not because you did something that says you don't deserve it, right? It's talking more about getting to such a level of humility and humbleness within yourself by surrendering that you finally receive blessing. Now, we have the Knight of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, and the 10 of Wands. This whole process that you've been working towards is certainly moving slow, right? The Knight of Pentacles here is slow, but on the other side of that, he also gets where he's going, right? So every step is very grounded and built into the physical realm. You can see he's even riding a bull here in this depiction. So even typically he's riding a horse. And it's kind of interesting because he's got this bow and arrow. And first time I saw this, I was like, okay, what are you really going to chase down on the back of a bull? I'm sure a bull can move at a certain amount of speed, but it's nothing like a horse, right? And so what you're hunting at this time is just, it's taking time. That's it. And so on some sort of level here, we have the Queen of Cups as your center card. So you could certainly be dealing with a Pisces or a Cancer here, but really what this card is talking about is your loving focus on something is really what is driving the whole thing forward. It's also important to surrender to your intuitive side, your emotional side. The Queen of Cups is highly intuitive. And we do have the moon showing up here as well. So more Cancer, Pisces energy. So I feel like on some intuitive level, you know this is going to succeed. It's just been such a slow, back-breaking process that you're like, come on, really? Like this, how much of a challenge do I have to prove myself? How long does this go on, right? It feels very frustrating, but I think in that is the message, to surrender to the fact that it's just not going to move at the pace that you want it to. It's going to move at the pace that is divinely guided. And that's that. Let's see what else we can get here. Excuse me. The Knight of Pentacles. We have the Six of Cups. And the Ace of Wands. Could very well have a soulmate connection coming in here in October. Something that's taken forever to show up as well. So there's that. There's that little spark of excitement for the month of October. It kind of almost feels like, after whatever this commitment was that ended, that you had to pull away from and start to chase your dreams, I feel like, you've kind of been in this Four of Swords energy. You may not have been in a relationship. You may not have been really all that exposed to other people at all. So it could be that you've been in this crazy holding pattern in multiple areas of your life, not just work or, whatever this inspired dream is that you're chasing. Could also be love here. But it does look like something's coming in here. Could be an earth sign, but I'm also just getting that it's taken a long time to show up. And I think that might be coming in as part of that grace that you are receiving. And perhaps it's because you finally let something die from the past. Why do we have the Queen of Cups? Three of Swords. And the Two of Pentacles. To me, that feels like, are you going to honor your heart here? I feel like there's a decision that is happening in October, and it could very well be related to this creative endeavor, this work that you've been doing. It could also just be a choice of, choosing something that honors your heart or breaks your heart, and it being that simple. Like, if this doesn't make you feel good, then it's not the right thing. And using that as a map, really. 10 of Wands. We have the Sun. And the Strength cards. So some strong Leo energy coming in there. It could have been a Leo in the past that was proving to be such a burden to you. And the thing that you've allowed to die in so many ways, like you've ended a relationship with a Leo, could be. But also what I'm getting is that on the other side of this surrender, of letting go of something that has died, there's all this bright warmth. I mean, Leo energy is warm-hearted energy, right? It's strength, and it's like freedom, brightness, luminosity, awareness. It's like, you know, the sun. It's life-giving. So whatever this thing is that needs surrendered, think about that. What is it in your life that you need to surrender? Something that's obviously not been good for your emotions, your heart. You know, it's been heartbreaking. And I think you'll have an offer coming in here from a soulmate. Now, this could be from this same person in the past. So keep that in mind. And so that could very well be the decision that you need to make. Are you going to trust your intuition and keep moving forward, even though it's been hard? Or are you going to go back to a situation that was heartbreaking in the past? And tough. That's tough. In the future position, we have the call of the Muse. And this is, thank God, we have this energy coming in here that is inspirational, that is coming. It kind of feels like with this Four of Cups that showed up in the reverse position when I pulled it out, kind of feels like it's coming in unexpectedly from out of nowhere, and it's going to break you out of this like ho-hum energy that you've just been like, I'm actually seeing this camel just like one step at a time through the desert, and it's been so hard. We have the Star, the Moon, and the Four of Cups. You know, it's interesting, in the Four of Cups, usually the person that's gazing at the Three Cups in front of them is pretty emotionally unsatisfied with them. Not too thrilled with those cups he's been getting. And then, you know, here comes this cup. And again, there's this bird. And like I was saying with that Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck, there's this eagle. So it does feel like something's coming through from spirit. It could even be a thought that comes across your mind, because birds represent like air signs, so like mental activity. Could actually be a result of this Mercury retrograde, you know, all that mental churning that we experience. And then the cup shows up. And so it could be kind of an unexpected arrival of something here. Perhaps in the form of grace, right? Let's hope. With the Star and the Moon, could be dealing with Aquarius, Pisces, Cancer energy here. I like that the Star is showing up because it's like perhaps finally a breakthrough when it comes to this dream that you've been after, right? So let's see what's coming in. I'm hearing it's always darkest before the dawn. What, for some reason, excuse me, looking at this moon, and it's like this giant bright moon, but she is surrounded in darkness on this bridge that she's walking across. But that was the saying that just came to me. Why do we have the Star? We have the Six of Swords and the Five of Swords. With the Moon, we have the Magician. And the King of Wands. And with the Four of Cups, we have the World. And the Two of Swords. Okay. Interesting message coming in here, a couple of them. So, some of you may actually be moving on from an Aquarius. I just saw the Star again. Because it's been just a conflicting situation here. And I think what you find here with this person, because we have all these swords showing up here with the Star, right? So a lot of air energy coming through. So a lot of mental energy. And then here with the Moon, we have the Magician and the King of Wands here. And so it's like a double message. Either way you read it, you've moved on from something that was conflicting, like a lot of drama is what I'm hearing from the past. And it may be that it's kind of like just kept with you because of this Ten of Wands here and me talking about just letting it die. And it seems like if this is a past person, in October they come forward with like, yeah, let's try again, potentially with that Six of Cups. Six of Cups can be someone from your past. Doesn't have to be, but just follow me here. And upon deciding to move on from that, you move into calmer waters and continue to follow your dream, your destiny. It's like it was destined that this come to an end so that you could move forward. And it's like there's some, I think that you find that this person may have been quite emotionally manipulative as well, with the Moon and the Magician here. Very self-serving. Yeah, I just keep hearing manipulation going on there. And it's like as soon as you decide that that's not what you want, and you want to end it, even though maybe on some level you've been hiding that from yourself, this ending, I think that you find that this person wasn't the muse at all. It was you. And I feel like it wasn't something you could see, right? She's blindfolded on this Two of Swords. It wasn't something you could see because they did so much stuff. It feels like kind of Seven of Cups energy, kind of like they would create so many things to like completely blur out your vision of yourself. It's like they didn't want you to see that you, in fact, are the star, the muse, You are the thing that inspires others. Now, also, what I'm getting from this is that you are going to manifest and move forward because you start getting some recognition here. With the call of the Muse and the Star, I do feel like you are starting to make an impression, so to speak. So depending on what it is that you've been working on, there are others that are starting to notice that. And it moves you into a more positive direction. I also feel like you're going to start using that emotional nature within you. Since we have this Queen of Cups and the Moon coming in together, there's something important here about your emotional, intuitive side that maybe you aren't recognizing or you haven't been, that depending upon your emotional state at any given time, you're manifesting from that space. And so if you've been in this painful heartbreak, rejection place with this person even, and that's been your emotional state, that's where you're manifesting from. And it suddenly dawns on you like, whoa, this is a big deal. This manifestation that's come through more than once here has a very strong connection to the emotional world that you exist in. And so if you aren't spending time laughing, having fun, crying happy tears, feeling gratitude, right? The blessings are taking so long to get here because you've just been in this heartbroken place. This burden, this pain. And when we try and manifest from that place, we get more of that, right? So I think that becomes very clear to you that your brilliance, your muse, your inner muse for yourself is like to be in this emotionally heightened space so that you can manifest more quickly. And I think that's a big key to this entire reading. So keep that in mind and investigate that now rather than waiting until the end of October here. Pay attention to that now, because I feel like that's going to be a big deal. With this Four of Cups, the World, and the Two of Swords, again, I just feel like it's like this sudden awareness that, the ending itself was the gift. Now, of course, you're going to want more after that, right? But the ending itself was the gift. So take that as it resonates. It's like you're stepping through this portal on this World card. And you can see too how on this card with the Two of Swords, she's blindfolded and the moon is up here. So she's not paying attention to her emotions on that card as well. So I feel like that is kind of got a little complicated there at the end, but I think we have some really good messages here. But specifically, pay attention to that emotional state when you're trying to manifest something or you're sending your intention out into the universe. What state are you doing that from? Are you doing it from here? Right? Where you're out in the cold and you're like, oh, I just want this to get better. That's normal, right? But are you doing it from there or are you doing it from here? Are your emotions in this place when you go to manifest something? And just play with that. Play with that a little bit in October and see if that doesn't shift things. in a more positive direction for you, and start bringing those things in more quickly for you. And don't forget, we did have that Knight of Cups, that message from the universe. Pay attention to those intuitive hits, those messages that you're receiving during this Mercury retrograde, because right behind that was the Fool card. So there's some new beginning coming, but it almost feels like this October period is just that last leg where you're picking up on those final puzzle pieces, and it all clicks together, and you're like, oh. You can see how she's like looking up at this star, like ding ding, enlightenment, kind of illumination comes in. So, okay, we'll wrap this up. Make sure you check out your Mercury retrograde reading, and I hope that was helpful, Capricorn. I will see you next week. Bye.